What's up, everybody? Thank you for coming back to Jorky TV. It is Wednesday 6/4, so you know what that means. It's time we talk about some new comics that have come out today. We're going to start off by covering Joe Kelly's Amazing Spider-Man issue number 5. Now, I've been kind of waiting to talk about Joe Kelly's Amazing Spider-Man run until I can make an entire video dedicated to it. Since we're on issue 5, I think I might actually get around to making that. But it has been a fantastic ride so far. A fun fact, this is actually my first Spider-Man run, which I completely understand if you were like, dude, you sound like a complete fraud. How are you a big comic book fan and you haven't even really read a Spider-Man run all the way through? And yeah, you'd be right. You'd be right. You shouldn't say it, but you'd be right. I honestly think I found a great hop-on point, though. Joe Kelly's writing is absolutely phenomenal. He's done some of my favorite Deadpool work, so when I saw he was writing this, I had to check it out. Pepe Larraz's art is astonishing. Amazing, if you will. Honestly, though, it's a fantastic story. This issue has a really fun fight between Hobgoblin and Spider-Man. A lot of good character moments from the side characters that are freshly introduced in this series, or at least I assume one of them is freshly introduced in this series. Once again, I'm a fraud. I wouldn't really know who's fresh and who isn't because I didn't read the previous run. I do know I like all these side characters. I was afraid any of these were going to die because I don't know who's safe and who isn't. I really do recommend it to anyone, and I think it's not too far into this series that you couldn't just hop in and check it out. Next up is 2025's DC Pride, which I would love to list more, but they got about like 6 writers and 8 artists on here, so I'm going to list out the few who did some of my favorite stories in this book. So this story is one big story that has multiple mini-stories within it, and those mini-stories are done by multiple different creative teams. Some of those stories I think are a lot more quality than the other ones are. It kind of makes it a bit hard to track how I overall felt with this book. Some of my favorite stories in here were the ones done by Vita Ayala that involved The Question, Maya Houston, who did the Harley Quinn story, and then we have one by Josh Trujillo, who did a story about Bunker, and Ethan Rivera. Now, another story I like that's getting a little bit of controversy is by Jude Ellison, who did a story revolving around the Snowman, and it involves Wonder Woman getting canceled. It feels like a South Park episode. I thought it was pretty funny. I could understand with someone who was looking into this comic for something else why they wouldn't be as amused with it. Regardless, overall, this story has a very powerful message about not living in a fantasy and facing reality no matter how challenging it is, because you need to face reality even if it is challenging. It is a powerful message. It's super strong. This is a really great story. It has some rough notes that can make it kind of go uphill, downhill, but overall, it is a really powerful, really needed story, especially nowadays. Especially in a time frame where bigotry has been showing its really ugly ass face, especially in the comic book industry for some reason. Stories like this are so essential. DC has always been a forefront of doing things that are LGBT forward and progressive, and I think that is very powerful on their part. I plan on covering a few more videos that all are centered around Pride this month, and if you don't like that, that's too damn bad! I really do recommend picking up that comic and checking out some more powerful LGBT voices within the community as they talk about the comic too. Now, my favorite of this comic haul is Marvel Knights, The World to Come Issue 1. I'm not gonna lie to you, I am so excited to talk about this comic. This is my shit. This book was great. I love Christopher Priest Black Panther so much, bro. It's so good.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
After 20 so years of being off Black Panther, my man comes back. Marvel Knights comes back, which is awesome. And Joe Quesada's art is so on point. A legendary artist for a legendary comic. He does not miss either. It is truly a work of art. And if you would like to know what happens in the story, that's just too damn bad because I'm not going to tell you. You need to go pick this issue up. There's political and religious disconnect. There's corruption in Wakanda. T'Challa makes morally questionable decisions, which some of these things you may have heard before. The problem is they're so damn good when Christopher Priest gets to do it that you have to go read it now. I would genuinely love to talk about it more, but I'm not going to spoil anything. Everything about the book is fantastic, and I have such high hopes for it. Get down to your local comic book store and check that comic out. And that was the last comment we had today. Thank you guys for checking out the channel once again. Thank you for watching the video. If you don't have any local comic book stores by you, remember there are some apps that are pretty reasonably priced that let you read unlimited comics on them. Make sure to check those out as well. And until next time, thank you for coming out and being a true jorker, and have a great day.